done something that sounded easy and then realized halfway through that you were completely wrong? Not a little wrong, completely embarrassingly wrong? That happened to me on a mountain with no water, and I'm going to tell you the whole story today. Hi everyone, and welcome to Speak English with Us. I'm Holmes, and today I'm flying solo. No melody, just me, my story, and a few important English words I want to teach you along the way. So, let's talk about the hiking trip that almost killed me. Okay, before I start, almost killed me is an exaggeration. I want to be honest with you. I was fine, but in the moment, it did not feel fine. It felt very, very bad. Here's how it all began. A few months ago, some friends invited me to go hiking on the weekend. Now, I should tell you something about me. I am a night owl. That means I stay up late and I wake up late. Early mornings are not my thing, but my friends said, "Holmes, it'll be fun. Come on." And I thought, you know what? Why not? I can do this. How hard can hiking be? Spoiler, it was hard. So, the plan was to meet at 6 in the morning, 6 a.m. I normally wake up at 8, maybe 8:30 if I hit the snooze button a few times. But I set my alarm. I was prepared. Kind of. The morning of the hike, I woke up. I put on my shoes. And honestly, I felt pretty good. The weather was cool and the sky was clear. You know that feeling when something seems like a great idea? That was me at 6 a.m. We drove about an hour out of the city to reach the trail. A trail, T-R-A-I-L, is the path you walk on when you go hiking. It's the route through nature, usually marked with signs or painted marks on rocks and trees. The trail. Remember that word. So we arrived at the trail entrance and I looked up at the mountain and it looked fine. Not too tall, not too steep. Steep, S-T-E-E-P, means the slope goes up at a sharp angle, like really dramatically up. You know those staircases that are almost vertical? That's steep. Our trail didn't look steep, at least not from the bottom. The first 30 minutes, wonderful. We were walking through trees, there was a nice breeze, and I could hear birds. I thought, I get it now. I understand why people do this. I was having a great time. Then we hit the steep part, and let me tell you, I was not ready. The trail went from nice and flat to, why is the ground trying to attack me, very quickly. My legs started burning. My breathing got heavy. My friends, who apparently hike every weekend, were just chatting like normal people while I was holding onto tree branches for support. But here's where things started going wrong. I realized I had forgotten something important. Water. I had no water. Now, when you exercise and you don't drink enough water, you become dehydrated. Dehydrated. Dehydrated means your body doesn't have enough water. And when you're dehydrated while climbing a mountain, you start to feel exhausted very quickly. Exhausted. E-X-H-A-U-S-T-E-D. Exhausted. This is a strong word for tired, not just a little sleepy. Exhausted means you have almost no energy left. Your body feels heavy. Your legs feel like they're made of concrete. That was me, exhausted. I was exhausted and dehydrated about halfway up the mountain, and I still needed to reach the summit. The summit, S-U-M-M-I-T, is the highest point, the very top of the mountain, the summit. When climbers talk about reaching the summit, they mean they made it all the way to the top. Our summit was still far away. Can I be honest with you for a second? Right here, on the side of this mountain, I thought about quitting. I really did. I looked up at how far we still had to go. I looked at my tired legs. I thought about my comfortable sofa at home. And I almost said, guys, I'm going back. But then I thought about how I would feel if I gave up. And honestly, that feeling, the feeling of not trying, was worse than tired legs. So I kept going. By the way, if you're finding this story helpful for your English, I would be so grateful if you could take a second to subscribe to our channel. It really means a lot. Okay, back to the mountain. So my friends and I kept walking, but at some point, we made a wrong turn. I don't know exactly when it happened. We were following the trail, and then suddenly, the path disappeared. There were no more signs, no more painted marks on the trees. We were surrounded by bushes and rocks, and we didn't know which direction to go. We needed to navigate. Navigate. N-A-V-G-A-T-E. To navigate means to find your way from one place to another. When you use Google Maps to find a restaurant, you are navigating. When a ship's captain plots a course across the ocean, he is navigating. And when three confused hikers try to figure out which way is up, we were also trying to navigate. Not very successfully. My friend pulled out his phone, but the signal was weak up in the mountains. The map was loading slowly. We stood there, in the middle of nowhere, trying to navigate our way back to the trail. I will not lie to you. I was a little bit scared. Just a little bit. Okay, maybe more than a little bit. After about 15 minutes of wandering and arguing about which direction looked more trail-like, we found a marker, a small painted arrow on a rock that said, Summit. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. We were so close. I took a long breath. I drank the last few sips of water from my friend's bottle. Thank you, David. I owe you. And we kept moving. And then we reached the summit. The summit. The very top. And I want to tell you, the view was incredible. You could see the whole valley below, the city in the distance, the clouds at eye level. It was one of those moments where you forget how tired your legs are because your eyes are too busy being amazed. And that feeling, that warm, wonderful feeling, is called relief. Relief. R-E-L-I-E-F. Relief is the feeling you get when something difficult or scary is finally over. It's a combination of happiness and relaxation, like when you finish a hard exam, or when your flight lands safely after some turbulence, or when you reach the top of a mountain after almost getting lost and running out of water. That was relief, and it felt amazing. You know, sitting at the top of that mountain, exhausted, relieved, and a little bit sunburned, I thought about something. Learning English is actually a lot like hiking. When you start, you look up at the mountain and you think, that's so far, that's so high, I'll never get there. And sometimes in the middle, you hit a steep section. It gets hard. You feel lost. You want to turn around. But if you keep going, if you don't quit when it's difficult, you get to the summit. And when you're there, all of that hard work makes sense. The key thing is, don't look at the whole mountain at once. Just focus on the next step. One word today, one sentence tomorrow, one conversation next week. That's how you get there. Are you ready to do that? I believe you are. Okay, let's do a quick word tour before we go. I want to make sure you remember all of today's English vocabulary. Number 1, trail. A trail is the path you walk on when hiking. We followed the trail through the forest. Number 2, steep. Steep describes a very sharp slope going up. The trail became very steep near the top. Number 3, dehydrated. Dehydrated means your body doesn't have enough water. After 2 hours of hiking, I was exhausted and dehydrated. Number 4, exhausted. Exhausted means extremely tired, with almost no energy left. I was absolutely exhausted by the time we reached the summit. Number 5, summit. The summit is the highest point, the very top. We finally reached the summit after 3 hours. Number 6, navigate. To navigate means to find your way from one place to another. We had to navigate without phone signal. Number 7, relief. Relief is the wonderful feeling when something hard or scary is finally over. I felt so much relief when we found the trail again. Trail, steep, dehydrated, exhausted, summit, navigate, relief. 7 words. Try to use at least one of them today. Can you make a sentence? Write it in the comments. We would absolutely love to read it. So that was my hiking trip. The one that didn't kill me, but definitely tried. I learned a few things that day. Always bring water, always check the trail map before you start, and never underestimate a mountain. Underestimate. One last bonus word. To underestimate something means to think it will be easier or smaller than it actually is. I completely underestimated that hike. Don't underestimate your English learning either. It's harder than it looks, but it's also more rewarding than you expect. I'm Holmes, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep practicing, and bye for now.